Have you ever stopped to wonder where your beliefs and opinions truly stem from? It's a journey worth taking, because chances are, someone, at some point, has attempted to sway you. The stark truth is that your time and energy are valuable, and are coveted by others. Whether it's businesses, politicians, or influencers, each vies for a slice of your mental real estate, as if they can utilise it correctly, it can be used to their benefit. Unbeknownst to many, puppeteers lurk in the shadows, exerting influence over every facet of your existence. The media you consume, the education that shaped you, the companies you pay for, even the food and drink you consume today, are under their influence. There's a silent war raging, and you're the unwitting soldier. But fear not, for in this series, we shall unveil everything that's going on, while arming you with strategies that limit their influence. In this episode, we will discuss modern cinema, and how it's convinced you to spend your hard-earned money on content that is subtly brainwashing you. Let's get started. First, let's outline the basics of manipulation. To successfully influence someone's opinion, the person being influenced needs to be convinced that what they are being encouraged to do benefits them. This is easier to do than you might have thought. The human brain is heavily biased. Despite our fantastic logical thinking skills, nearly half of our brain is actually rather illogical. The reptilian and limbic parts of our brain evolved in our ancestors millions of years ago. These parts of our brain are mostly unchanged to this day, and provide us with built-in reactions to certain situations we cannot control. The reptilian brain deals with basic instincts, such as hunger, thirst, and balance, while the limbic brain is responsible for social interactions, such as building friendships and family. For the average human, around 30 to 45% of all brain power is allocated to these two parts. This means that nearly half of the thinking you do is at least somewhat illogical, and therefore biased. There are hundreds of known psychological biases in humans, which are literally wired into us from day one. The only way we can really overcome our biases is to use intense critical thinking and willpower. Worse still, these biases have been known to elites for decades. It's incredibly easy to use them against us. In this series, I will cover many areas of life and get the essentials down, but the mind games go extremely deep. Controlling your mind is an intense, high-stakes competition, which requires manipulative propaganda to be made exceptionally well, so I am sure there's plenty I'll miss. If you have any more ideas, leave them down in the comment section below. Disclaimer: manipulation can also be motivation. Motivation is manipulation that genuinely benefits your life. I'm not trying to say that anyone trying to convince you to do anything is inherently wrong. I'm just encouraging every viewer to think for themselves and come up with their own opinions. In today's world, the power of media is staggering, surpassing anything we've seen even a mere 5 or 10 years ago. Our lives are saturated with digital devices, smartphones, computers, TVs, making them the ultimate tools for influence. Every piece of digital media, be it movies, TV shows, music, video games, or social media platforms, is a high-stakes business that thrives on your time, energy, and money. In this episode, we're diving into the world of TV and movies. While the concept of entertainment through storytelling has been around for centuries, think plays and live performances, modern cinema has evolved into a whole new entity. From humble beginnings with tapes to the digital revolution of CDs, and now the boundless reach of the internet, the film industry has transformed the way we consume media. Today, with just a TV or computer and a few clicks, you can access a vast library of movies and shows right at your fingertips. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, why do we feel this irresistible pull towards entertainment? After all, it's not a matter of survival. Our ancestors got by just fine without it for thousands of years. So what's driving these urges? The answer is, it's complicated. Convincing you to pay your money to spend hours staring at a TV screen is a complex task. There are several steps in this psychological process, the first of which is advertising. The goal of advertising is to simply get in your head. Whether you're tuned into TV or listening to the radio, advertisements like movie trailers may seamlessly infiltrate your viewing experience. These are paid ads that you are effectively forced to watch. Another avenue for film promotion is YouTube, a platform we'll explore in greater detail in a future episode. Here, advertisement operates through the YouTube algorithm, which is tailor-made to present you with content deemed relevant to your interests. To entice clicks, YouTube videos rely on eye-catching thumbnails and titles, employing vibrant colours and intriguing imagery. Our brains are naturally drawn to these colours, which are reminiscent of the ripe fruits that sustained our hunter-gatherer ancestors. This is our reptilian programming at play. Additionally, thumbnails often feature human faces conveying intense emotions such as anger, humour, or joy, which sparks our curiosity to delve deeper into the content. Because of our emotional programming, we are naturally drawn to other humans expressing strong emotions. We want to know what is causing them to feel that way. And just like that, our attention is obtained. In essence, YouTube serves as a hub for free advertising. If you clicked, the advertisement has successfully convinced your brain that engaging with the content is a worthwhile use of your time and energy. This marks the onset of the next phase of manipulation, where you are now watching the trailer or advert. Let's clarify the objectives of the content at hand. For a movie trailer, the aim is to persuade you to invest your money and time into the movie or TV show. Once again, your cognitive biases are skillfully exploited. Generally speaking, we watch movies and television to feel good. Specifically, our brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's reward system. Our body has evolved to produce dopamine when we are doing something right, which encourages us to do it more. This would be fine, but as our society has developed, humans have figured out ways to trick our dopamine receptors into feeling good. Our receptors haven't caught up with our rapidly evolving world, and still work in the same way they did thousands of years ago. Everything that feels good to you can be traced back to something that is beneficial to us in a hunter-gatherer scenario. For example, sweets and chocolates mainly taste good because they contain lots of sugar, which is also found in the healthy fruits our ancestors would feed on. Humans isolated the dopamine-producing part from the fruit and put it into food with no health benefit. As we eat the chocolates, we are tricking our brain into thinking we are eating something healthy, when in fact it is bad for us. This framework has many applications in this series. It can also be used to explain why staring at a screen for several hours can feel so good. When we watch movies, our dopamine receptors cannot distinguish between what's happening on a screen and what's happening in real life. If we are watching an exciting story, we feel some of the feelings we would feel if it were real life. The genre of the movie describes what emotion the movie will make us feel. A romantic movie is particularly appealing to women who seek out such relationships in real life. Dopamine is released when women form a relationship with a man, as it improves their chances of survival. Similarly, men tend to prefer action movies, as they resemble the hard moments, such as hunting an animal or fighting a rival. A comedy makes us laugh, which is a sign of forming a friendship. Every movie genre can be linked back to a hunter-gatherer ancestors in some way. The best movies tend to have highly relatable characters that we can strongly empathize with or relate to. The stronger our connection is, the more involved we feel in the story. The more involved we feel in the story, the more dopamine is released. This is the core principle of the movie industry. You're fooling your dopamine receptors into thinking you are really involved with the things that are happening in the movie. In reality, your life is completely unchanged. The goal of the movie trailer is to tease your dopamine receptors without giving away the entire story. Before watching the trailer, you have subconscious notions of what the movie will be about, and what you want to see in it. For an action movie, the trailer will usually show very short clips of action. After watching these small dopamine-inducing clips, the real thing becomes irresistible. There are also further tricks of advertising that play on other human biases. The scarcity bias is a tendency to place higher value on things that are perceived as scarce or exclusive. By teasing limited time offers, trailers create a sense of FOMO and spur us into action. This also links back to our hunter-gatherer days, where food and resources were limited and competitive. The tribe that hunted the deer when they had the chance got to eat, while the others starved and died. Another trick is the mere exposure effect, wherein repeated exposure to a stimulus increases our preference for it. Viewing an advert once is good, but viewing it multiple times has an exponentially powerful effect on the brain. This one is essential to understand, and will also appear many times in this series. By bombarding us with catchy taglines, memorable visuals, and iconic sound bites, trailers prime our brains to develop a sense of familiarity and affinity towards the movie, making us more likely to invest in it. Our brains learn from repetition, so repeated viewings further encode the advert into our minds, making it harder to forget. The crucial final element in advertising is social proof. As social beings, we tend to rely heavily on the opinions and actions of others before making decisions. It's a bit like jumping on the bandwagon. We feel more comfortable aligning ourselves with the crowd, a trait deeply rooted in our limbic brain, which craves the safety of belonging to a tribe. When we encounter positive reviews, celebrity endorsements, or even better, see our peers expressing interest in a movie, our own interest shoots through the roof. The power of social proof amplifies when a movie is promoted widely, as conversations about it spread like wildfire among friends and acquaintances. The movie aims to create the impression that everyone is watching it, subtly nudging us to join in or risk being left out socially. It's a powerful psychological mechanism that taps into our primal need for acceptance and connection, compelling us to follow the herd. So now the seed has been planted in your minds. You are now convinced that watching the movie will feel good, so are willing to invest your time and money in it, as long as the price is right. It's now only a matter of time until you take action, as long as other dopamine-inducing activities aren't considered more important. This is the nature of our competitive world. There is never-ending incentive to create the most dopamine-inducing products possible. This is why modern media often seems extreme and unrealistic, because it's the only way to obtain attention and money in this business model. One more dopamine trap to mention that applies to TV shows or stories with multiple movie installments is the sunk cost fallacy, or escalation of commitment. As you get more invested in something, whether it be time, money, or energy, you are more inclined to continue investing in said activity, even if it is no longer enjoyable or beneficial to you. Many modern TV shows tend to tail off in quality in later seasons, yet people will watch them all the same, as they've already invested so much time into getting to know the story already. For businesses, this means the same profit, but potentially lower effort. A question to ask yourself is, what value did a film or TV show actually ever give you? Yes, it felt good to watch, and it may even feel good to think about the story again now. It may have even felt good talking about it with your peers. Maybe eating dopamine-inducing food, such as sweets and popcorn, made it even better. But how does it improve your life in the long term? Probably not at all. Either way, this is the business model, and it has 99% of the population under its control. But we aren't done yet. While media has your attention and engagement, there's a deeper game being played. As we said, people have an incentive to control every aspect of your life, so your attention is incredibly valuable. While they have your attention, they may as well use it for their benefits. This is the perfect time to instill subconscious propaganda. A movie has your attention for a few hours, but really, your life is worth far much more than this. Without going into details, the companies that create these movies and TV shows are economically linked to wealthier corporations, governments, and banks. The filmmakers must adhere to what these people want them to do, to some extent. If not, the filmmakers will be replaced by other filmmakers who will do what the wealthy want. The rich may suggest certain films are made, hire certain actors, or portray certain people in certain ways. For example, a film depicting a modern family might be portrayed in a way the rich wants families to act. The father may have certain traits, the mother may have others, or the family may be raised by a single mother. As we've said, humans have a herd mentality, so anything we see other humans do naturally rubs off on us. This particularly applies to characters we relate to and respect. If the rich want men and women of certain demographics to act in a certain way, they'll depict them as such in the media. Them acting in this way indirectly benefits the elites in some way, either in the short term or the long term. What the rich want is a complex question to answer, to say the least, and is left as an exercise to the viewer. Regardless, this is the system, and it works. To summarize, you are tricked into thinking you want to spend your time, money, and energy watching a movie or TV series. The content becomes addicting as you continue to watch. Content simultaneously changes your views and opinions of the world by subconsciously teaching you how to act. All of this for a few hours of tricking your brain to produce dopamine. If you've made it this far into the video, you probably want to know if there's a way of avoiding all of this. We humans are resilient, intelligent, and adaptable creatures who are capable of problem solving. However, the first step in solving this problem is accepting that you are susceptible to all these tricks, whether you like it or not. This is important to understand, as it allows you to see the tricks in your mind when they happen. The obvious advice is to avoid all platforms that the elite can reach you on at all, which basically includes any digital device. However, this is hard for us to do, as these devices also provide genuinely useful functions, such as calling and texting friends and family, or telling you the weather forecast. A more practical solution is mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to control your direction of thought, and therefore your emotions. When you feel dopamine for whatever reason, You are now able to consciously detect what caused it, and logically decide if said thing is actually good for you. Another way of describing all this is the preference of long-term gratification over short-term. Short-term gratification is basically instant dopamine, while long-term is true, genuine satisfaction with your life. Mindfulness allows you to prioritize things that provide long-term gratification over short-term. It allows you to resist being fooled by fake dopamine vices, such as movies. Studies have shown that people who prioritize delaying gratification have better lives than those who do not in pretty much every measurable way. Examples include success as an entrepreneur, building relationships, building a family, having a healthy diet, and athletic performance. There are already many great videos out there on improving your mindfulness. The textbook method is meditation, where you train your brain to focus on one thing, rather than losing your train of thought. Now is the most important time in history to practice mindfulness, as technology is getting exponentially more potent for manipulation. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative. I'm aware that I glossed over the solution part quite quickly. Truthfully, our understanding of our minds is limited right now, and conditioning it to not crave dopamine is a tremendous task that no one has truly accomplished. Nonetheless, being aware of what is happening to you is the first step to fixing it, so I hope this video opened your eyes. To be clear though, movies and television are only the tip of the iceberg in the war for your mind. In the coming episodes, we will discuss the many other avenues through which your mind is being fooled, including the modern education system, social media, consumables, and video games. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you can, as it helps me grow and spread these messages to more people.